You're listening to Mark of the Maker. Hey everybody, I'm Mark Steiner and you're listening to Mark of the Maker. This is episode 136 of the show. We have a special guest with us tonight. We'll get to that in just a second. We have Mr. Tom Krein here with me.
What's up?
And we have Sean Kendrick.
Hey, hey.
And Michael Birch is off entertaining his folly at the moment.
Yeah, indeed.
He's, I think he's got playing soccer tonight. Getting his exercise on. Good for him. Let's take care of a little bit of business. It's just the three of us plus our guest. Sean, you want to start us off?
Absolutely. I want to thank all of the listeners who go over to Patreon and pledge money to us every month. You guys help keep the lights on. You help keep our mics moving around the country, sometimes around the world. And you help us stay pretty current with the tech we need to get this thing done. Thank you all very much. And if you're listening to this and you don't have a Patreon with us, maybe consider going over, giving us $1 or maybe a little more a month. Every bit helps, and it's all appreciated. And once again, thank you to all of our Patreon supporters. And if you'd like to help out the show and it not cost a dime, rate and review the show. It gets us kicking in the algorithm, gets us in front of more people, and every bit helps. So once again, thank you guys, and head over to patreon.com and just search Mark of the Maker.
All right, Tom, you're up.
Hey guys, I want to give a huge shout out to our friends over at Paladin 33. Josh and his crew are making some awesome stuff day in and day out. Keep an eye on the website. It's paladin33.com, and their Instagram is paladin_33. Their stuff sells out fast, so when it pops up, got to grab it. Their Outback Mark III Ultralight is a really cool bag. If you're doing concealed carry, this is a great way to carry off body. If you are doing something that's difficult, like driving, is where I oftentimes keep a GAT in the old, sling bag. So check them out. They're made right here in the USA in Bend, Oregon. Paladin33.com.
A GAT in the old sling bag.
Just call it the magic murder bag. There's no way it could come back to bite you in court.
What bad thing could possibly happen as a result of that?
Yeah.
Definitely check it out, Paladin's Instagram, because Josh teases the stuff out of there. He shows pictures and little sneak previews and hints on stuff they're going to do. And sometimes it's a really good heads up for something that, surprise, ends up showing up on the site. So if you like their stuff, and you should, watch the Instagram because you'll see what's coming.
I really like the oiled like tin cloth they're doing. I've got one. I reached out and I was like, hey, can you make me one of these and this? And he's like, we're working on them right now.
Nice.
So got another one coming.
There you go. All right, Shauna, you're up.
All right. You guys know that I always enjoy doing the ad read for Giant Mouse knives, so head over to giantmouse.com and check out what they got going on. And now I know we always give the folding knives love, but you would really be remiss if you didn't check out Giant Mouse's fixed blades. And this time out, I'm going to focus on the Giant Mouse GMF2 PR. And man, this is just a really great looking knife. It looks handy and usable. It's done up in 690. PVD coating, red G10 handles. It comes with a pretty slick black leather Italian sheath, 3.6 inch blade, about 5/32 thick, 8.1 overall, and just a solid carryable, usable knife. It's got kind of a roach belly sort of Skinner blade, and dude, it just does what a knife ought to do. And now, I feel like I should mention this one even though it's sold out, just because it really tickles my fancy, and I'm going to be looking for it to restock, and that's the GMF3P. And this is just a great looking knife. Once again, 690. You get the Italian leather sheath. It's got a 3 1/4 inch blade, that 5/32 stock. 6.5 inches overall, and it's got kind of a Middle Eastern inspired handle and kind of a modified roach belly skinner blade again, and just a really, really elegant looking package. I like this knife a lot. So head over to giantmouse.com, check out their offerings. You will not regret it.
Yeah, very cool historical tip of the hat in that handle.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, kind of like a dog bone shape, but yeah, very, very ethnic knife kind of stuff, right? Like that we've talked about on previous episodes.
Very much so.
All right, and go to, when you have just a second, ArizonaCustomKnives.com. Our friends at Arizona have been sponsors, long-running sponsors now for the show. We appreciate them. They always have cool stuff to check out on their website. They have over 14,000 items available for sale, which is dizzying, crazy, amazing. So definitely watch their site because they update stuff all the time. And right now on their front page, Tom, how many bagwells did you say they have on the front page?
I think they got 4, but if you go to the next page, there's another one. So
yeah,
they got a lot of pretty sweet bagwells.
They get folks, I think, sometimes estate stuff, sometimes folks just looking to liquidate a collection, and there's some crazy stuff. The current who's who on just the front page alone: Bagwell, Jim Siska, who else? Shirgorov, Anders Hogstrom, Sam Lurkin. There's just some crazy stuff on here. John Nelson Cooper. There's a really cool one that I just want to highlight real quick, and that is a dagger, a gorgeous San Francisco dagger with, I guess it's mammoth tooth or something. It looks almost like ivory. Handles with an engraved brass guard, which is really cool because this was actually engraved by Bill Bagwell, which is pretty unusual. I don't think this is an Italian leather sheath, Sean. I think this is made here in America by Bill Bagwell is my guess on who made that
I
sheath.
bet you $1 on it.
Yeah. So anyway, it comes with a really, really cool book. This is a collection cornerstone kind of piece, so definitely go check it out. And if you fancy it, send the fine folks at Arizona Custom Knife your money and treat yourself. You can also get free shipping on anything you buy at Arizona using the free shipping code Mark of the Maker ! All lowercase. Yeah, go check it out. There's lots of goodies over there, and it changes constantly.
It looks like that might be quote unquote goat horn. You know what I mean?
Oh. Material that shall not be named?
Correct.
I see.
Very nice.
Well, I'm picking up what you're laying down, Tom. It looks like it, doesn't it?
Yeah. You'd have to look at the end to tell, by the crosshatch.
Right.
I forget what that's called. Sean probably knows.
I'd have to get eyes on it.
Yep. Whatever you do, just don't say it out loud when you do figure it out.
Correct.
The halls have ears. Okay, so Arizona Custom Knives, check them out. And thanks to all of our sponsors, some fine folks that have stuck with us for quite a while, and they help keep the lights on around here. So we appreciate all of y'all. All right, so tonight we have a special guest with us. He's been with us here for a few minutes because we had what are we going to call it? I'm going to call it a recording anomaly that we're in the process of recovering from. So we have a special guest with us, knife maker and historian, Mr. Mike Moran. Welcome, Mark of the Maker. Mike, thanks for joining us.
Greetings. Excited to be here. This is fun.
Yeah. Has anybody ever called you a historian, Mike?
Well, I actually went to college for history.
Oh.
So,
you're a legit historian.
No, because I don't believe in titles. So, also college is a waste of time.
Mike laying down the wisdom right in the first 15 seconds of his time on Mark of the Maker.
Yeah. Listen, education isn't something you get. It's something you take.
There you go.
You guys ponder that for a while.
There you go. Chew on that
controversial, but so true.
We need good guidance counselors out there.
Oh,
yeah.
Tell me about it.
Yeah.
Hello, you're not college material.
Yeah.
Here's some options.
Might want to consider that. It might last maybe 30 minutes. in the public school guidance counselor role. Yeah. Let's dig into it with Mike. So Mike, why don't you explain to folks what you make and what you like, kind of who you are and what you make?
Oh, well, this is Mike Moran. I am not related to Bill Moran. Wish I was, though. That'd be awesome.
Never mind. Sorry. Wrong.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Right, well,
later.
Line just went dead, Mike.
Want to wrap this up?
Yep. Great to have you on.
Just kidding. Mike makes awesome
We wanted
stuff.
to ask you about your grandfather.
Yeah, right. Oh my gosh. I have been asked that hundreds of times.
That's fantastic. Sorry to interrupt.
I'll have guys like that bought 20 knives from me and then they'll work up the courage to ask,
Oh,
are you the grandson?
right.
But anyway, I make traditional pocket knives, like old timey grandpa knives. What we used to call pocket knives when I was growing up. Not that I'm that old, but
Right.
yeah, they call them slip joints now.
That's a stupid name.
It is. Thank you, Tom. I agree 100%.
Tom might have got a preview of this part of the conversation. Oh,
We've already exhausted this conversation.
yeah, we've went around the barn a couple times on it, but
I just want to say, I think Grandpa's Knives is marketing gold if you've got half a brain about marketing.
there you go. That's a
That's
good point.
100%.
Fucking nostalgia. If you can't
Yeah,
work
the
with
only-
nostalgia, you can't fucking work.
Yeah,
Well, the only propaganda more powerful than nostalgia is fear. So,
there you go.
yeah.
And now if you could scare them with the nostalgia, you're in like
Yeah.
Get him with the 1-2 punch.
Let me start making mace.
Yeah, right.
hell yeah.
So I think we've talked about Mike a couple times on the show. One for the history stuff that he was publishing out there, and we talked about his knives as well. It seems like on
You
the
did.
show. Yeah,
That was huge.
Yeah.
That launched me.
get out of here.
No, 100%.
Whatever.
100%. In fact, that was in 2020. And when you guys mentioned my name, I mean, it was on for me. Like, I never looked back because I had just gone full time
Oh,
and it was crazy. In
Was it
fact,
time.
I knew I made it when like Sal Monaro bought one of my knives. I was like, dude,
yeah,
I was walking on the moon
yeah.
that day. So
Sal
Dude,
and I
seriously.
talked about your stuff.
yeah. Yeah, because I've always enjoyed his work. He's a cool guy. I
Yes.
finally got to meet him a couple of years ago at Blade Show.
Excellent.
So yeah, very cool.
Solid dude.
Sal's a fine human being. He's in that solid category.
100%.
Yeah, excellent. So
Now, were you in Ohio at that time or had you moved already?
Yeah. So I am talking to you from my new homestead, if you will, in New River, Arizona. It's like 45 minutes north of Phoenix, northern part of the Sonoran Desert. And but I grew up in Ohio, born and raised there. And I moved out here a couple years ago. Call it my midlife crisis or my COVID crisis, whatever you want to call it.
and it's nice and cool there today, right, Mike?
Yeah. It's 116 today.
Yeesh.
But it's a dry heat, so it's not big deal.
It's a dry heat. Your skin doesn't last long. It just comes out and gets out of the way. It's that.
It is warm. I'm trying to like. It's nice because right now, like we haven't had started the monsoons yet, so the humidity's
Yeah.
still low, upper teens, low 20s.
Yeah.
So when you you go out 116 degrees, you start to sweat immediately.
Right.
But you don't know it.
Yes.
It's not like the Midwest or the South where you're like, oh, this is just miserable, and my drawers are soaked and whatever. Like you just start sweating and you start feeling cool all of a sudden.
Yep.
You're like, I know it's hot outside and I should be feeling hot, but I'm feeling the chills. And so
Wow.
you get that effect. But 116 kind of feels like you're inside of a convection oven.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
there's a cool mountain breeze out back. So
It feels like you're being blasted by hot air when you're not actually being blasted by anything. It's just ridiculous.
it's great. I love it. What I love is love seeing the sunshine every day. So
Yes.
It's a beautiful thing for a kid that grew up in Ohio.
Yeah. Not so common for Midwestern folks, but honest to goodness sunshine. We get that hazy, occasional peak kind of sunshine, like you said when we
Yeah, you
talked
get
the
some
other
nice
day,
days.
once or
Yeah.
twice. Yeah.
Yeah, and you get a few perfect days in the fall, but yeah, it's great. Saguaros, the saguaros reign supreme where I live. I'm up in the foothills. They call it the foothills. Coming from Ohio, I call these like mountains, but
Right.
I'm in a valley. I'm surrounded 360 degrees by mountains. So,
Beautiful.
yeah, it's great.
The first time I went to Arizona for doing test work for GM, I was quite young. I was at our test track facility in Mesa, and it was, I don't know, 100 something outside, because that's the only time I got to go there. I didn't really get to go there in the winter very much because it wasn't hot. That's the whole point, to go there. And
flights were expensive in the winter.
Yeah, right. And so we went to go eat lunch. I grabbed some food, and the guys were like, "Oh, we're going to sit outside over on those picnic tables." I'm like, "You got to be crazy. Absolutely zero chance I'm doing that." And they're like, "No, it's nice. Come on, sit down, hang out with us." And so we walked over, and they had misters going, right? Fog and mist into the air, which I had never experienced before.
Swamp coolers.
And I'm like, "What? We're not going to sit under this water, are we?" And they're like, "Oh, no, 100% we are. Actually, we're going to sit inside a ring of misted water, and it's really nice." And I'm like, "Get the hell out of here. I'm going to be soaked by the time I get done with lunch." And no, and it, like you said, it evaporated so fast that it was quite refreshing, actually.
When I moved here, I went deep into that rabbit hole because I started like figuring out the great bars and nice patios. And I'm like, these misters are great. So
yeah,
I thought I'd build a mister out back on the patio. And then I realized like it's really complicated. And these misters they operate at like 2,000 to 3,000 PSI.
Wow.
So that's how you get that fine mist.
Yeah.
So it's the opposite of a swamp cooler.
There you go. Right, where it's just dripping.
It just kind of blows water at you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the misters are cool. I never did complete that project. It's on my to-do list.
I think it was easy to do at the test track place because it's a bunch of shops and stuff with massive compressors and pumps and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Around, so
yeah, they make kits, but I live like I'm up in the hills, twice elevation of Phoenix. So like we literally have a breeze every day. There's a breeze blowing. So
it's beautiful.
Misters don't work very good in the breeze.
Right.
Yeah.
So Mike, let's go back. Tell us, so we always do this with guests, right? Because it helps a little context for the person, right? On who the person is, kind of how they came up in life and made their way. So tell us about so you said you came from Ohio. You were born and raised in Ohio?
Born and raised in Ohio, Wayne County, Ohio. My parents lived just right down the street from Rick Hinder.
Okay.
So kind of that area, north of Columbus, and about an hour. And my dad was a dairy farmer, so I grew up getting up early, milking cows, and sitting on a tractor.
Super early.
Super early. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the hardest kind of farming right there, in my opinion.
Well, that's real farming.
Yeah.
But,
Get up early.
Yeah, 100%. So it was a fun time, and it was probably the end of the heyday of American dairy farming, probably in the 80s. And it was neat. We were on the farm tour, I remember one year, and we had like Chinese and Japanese people coming to visit our farm.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, wow, this is so cool, you know. I don't know if I had ever been out of the county.
Right.
When I was really young. But so it was neat. And, you know, farmers are inventive. They're resourceful. So you're always trying out new things. But it was a neat experience for sure. But that county was full of farmers. There's a small town there that has a college, but outside of that, it's just farming.
We've talked about it a few times on the show, right? When you grow up on a farm or around a farm, or even in a farming community sometimes, right? The ingenuity thing isn't like if you aren't creative on your own, you're going to learn to be, because right, it's certainly, you know, in the buy stuff online era, right? There's no such thing as get a part fast, right? Maybe from a tractor supply or something, or the feed store, but you got to figure out how to make stuff work. And a lot of times you're out there like creating something to accomplish a task that you need to accomplish. And so, you know,
100%.
Farm kids grow up learning how to weld and how to build stuff, and you name it, right? A lot of skills that I think most modern kids don't really get exposure to.
Yeah. Welding and beating on stuff with hammers.
Yeah. Yes.
Probably the two skills you develop real fast.
Yep.
Yeah. 100%. So yeah. And you you learn to be self-sufficient. So I know that's a bad word these days, but you learn to take care of yourself and your family and your neighbors. Watch out for your neighbors. I mean, that was a key thing, was neighbors, because you can't really run a farm without the help of neighbors, especially during like harvest season. You know, it might just be like the neighbor lady watching the kids while the men are out in the fields all day, or whatever the case might be. You just couldn't, or, you know, the cows get out, which is always a thing.
Yeah.
You know, you need people to herd cattle. So,
yep.
Yeah, it was a fun time. My experience is probably not unlike hundreds of thousands of other people's experience my age, but, you know, I think that was kind of the end of that era. When I grew up, and even in my 20s and 30s, people I would run into in walks of life, they had a similar experience, but now I think the generations we're 1 or 2 generations removed from somebody having grown up on a farm. So it's kind of foreign, I think, to most people these days.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And all, like you said, all the stuff that comes with it, sense of community, the ingenuity, the stick together. Like there's a whole bunch of intangibles or non-obvious things, right, that come out of that really form a culture, right, and how people act and respond and deal with one another. Yeah.
Yeah, it was neat time. Neat time. And part of that county is filled with Amish people as well. So, so lots of different cultures coming together, but, you know, mostly German cultures and Irish cultures.
Yeah. So, Mike, as a farm kid, you obviously got a pocket knife pretty young. Very common, right?
Got to have a pocket knife.
Did you have a pocket knife?
I mean, that's just for cutting strings on hay bales mainly.
Yeah.
Because we were raising Holstein cows, so dairy cows. So you got to feed them hay, alfalfa, and you got to cut a lot of strings. I mean, a lot of strings.
Yeah.
So everybody had a Stockman knife in their pocket usually.
Yep.
Whether it was Case or Imperial. My first knife was Imperial, and I was 8 when I got it.
Yeah.
Down at the feed store, you know, out of the case on the counter that twirled around. You know, you lusted after the items in that case as a young boy. And I remember that day, and, you know, I proceeded to immediately, you know, slice my thumb off. So
yes,
my mom took my knife away.
A rite of passage.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was always kind of funny growing up because, you know, my knife got taken away from me because I was being irresponsible. But yeah, you know, I was still driving a combine at 2 a.m. So,
right.
Yep. Or driving farm trucks or whatever.
3-wheelers.
3-wheelers. Gosh, they really should bring those back.
Really, they should?
It's like bleaching the gene pool, man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It really is. The selection process.
Right.
If you haven't ridden a 3-wheeler in your life, you're not living. You just don't understand.
On 2 wheels. You got to drive the 3-wheeler on 2 wheels.
The 3-wheeler always ends up on 2 wheels or upside down.
Yes. Yeah. Any 2 wheels. Just pick 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back 2, side 2, whatever. Right. It's all good.
Yeah.
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 I think it's part of the rite of passage when you get a knife that you have to blood it, right? It's not really yours until you do that.
You really need to. I mean, when people ask me, I don't know about you guys, but I say, give the kid a pocket knife and let them cut themselves. They're not going to cut themselves bad. They're not going to cut a digit off. No. I mean, come on. So let them cut themselves. Maybe even get a stitch or 2. I mean, I'm a big super glue guy myself, but hey, you know, if you want to go spend some money, get some stitches, you can do that.
I like super glue and duct tape, either one.
Yeah.
If duct tape won't
blue
fix
masking
it.
tape and a paper towel, dirty paper towel.
Yeah, it works great.
Yeah.
This is not official endorsed medical advice from Mark of the Maker podcast, just to be clear.
That's the corporate side of Mark reaching in. He's been around the lawyers too long.
That's exactly right.
Gosh.
Too funny. All right. So you got your first knife at 8. So you mentioned having a Stockman or I think you said a Serpentine Jack when we talked earlier.
Oh, yeah.
So what was, did you have a fixed blade on your belt at some point as well? It's pretty
Okay,
common.
so my brother, I did have, my brother carried a buck 110 in a like sheath on his belt.
Yeah.
My younger brother. And I have a picture of us like sitting on a tractor or something. I remember seeing that because, we grew up MacGyver time frame. So that was a little later, but we definitely grew up Dukes of Hazzard.
Yes.
So, Duke boys, they had the knife, the buck 110. So, you needed that. I never really got into it though, because I'm just kind of, I guess I'm an old fuddy-duddy. I'm old-fashioned. I just, slide a knife into my watch pocket and move on about life. Try to keep it low-key, You don't bring a knife to a gunfight.
Well, and I think
Well, I do, but I bring a gun too.
Yeah, right.
Well, I mean,
Tom brings it all. His pocket dump
That's
is
just part
not
of
actually a joke. It looks like a joke, but it's not.
no, I carry a lot of shit.
He's got like 80 pounds of gear on his person at any given time.
Not quite that much. But I
Only
mean, if you count that tire I'm carrying around.
Right. Only because of the carbon fiber.
Yeah.
He's known as Mega EDC. on YouTube.
Yes. I think until you get influenced by stuff, especially for people that grow up hunting, fishing, outdoor family, or live in the country or a farming family or whatever, the knife thing isn't, aside from the first one and it's exciting and whatever, it's not like this glamour thing, right? Like there's not usually I don't know. The attraction is different because it's a tool. That's what you're using it for. I mean, it's to do things with. And I think for a lot of folks, right, lots of guests that we've had on, like you mentioned, whether it's Dukes of Hazzard or MacGyver or Rambo movie or whatever, right, there's like a cultural thing that happens where sometimes for people the light bulb goes on like, oh, that's actually cool, right? Or something about it gets more interesting and that sort of can send them down a path.
Yeah, 100%. We're influenced by something, usually propaganda, but
Right.
Carefully planned propaganda.
Right.
But yeah, I think everybody can identify with that. And I was no exception. So,
Yeah.
the Duke boys and MacGyver. MacGyver was just cool. I remember, I don't remember what night that was on TV. That's not even a thing anymore. Like people talking about what night something is.
I know that. We were just talking about that.
What
It's
are you
crazy.
talking about? Yeah. You remember you talked about the next day at school,
Yes.
during milk break.
Yep.
What's what you called that? I don't know. Your union mandated break between 10 and 10:15 a.m.
Yes, exactly. So had knives growing up, that was part of just the thing, right? It's just part of growing up. For you, Mike, when did knives become more interesting? Something that kind of got your attention or as a young guy, it doesn't sound like it was something that you were collecting knives or whatever. You had knives that.
No, I don't think anybody I knew collected knives. I mean, I grew up in an agricultural area, so maybe people had a couple worn out knives, but I didn't know any collectors.
Yeah.
That wasn't until my 30s that I started collecting knives and kind of getting down the rabbit hole of traditional pocket knives. So this was like Canal Street era. Of course, Case was making knives pre-Zippo days, and GC had not started yet. So that would have been like 2011 or so when I really started getting back into it, like getting into pocket knives. I'd been carrying a pocket knife. I think I got into Leathermans for a while.
Yeah.
And, everybody probably listening can identify with the Nut and Fancy and era and all that kind of stuff. So I was carrying some of that kind of nonsense. But
Queen was making during that time
Queen
too,
was
right?
making knives, 100%. But Canal Street was a whole nother level, I thought. And definitely
Agree.
the prices were crazy at the time.
Yeah.
So
That whole Leatherman Swiss Army knife multi-tool kind of world, right? For someone who was influenced as a young person by stuff like MacGyver, right? is
Yeah,
like,
that's pinnacle equipment right there.
it's fantastic, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh, I could go on an adventure or rescue a hostage with what I got in my
Right.
pocket. Let's go.
100%.
I got one in my back pocket right now.
I still keep a Juice S2 in all my vehicles.
There you go.
I'm like, that you can pretty much do anything with that,
Yep.
except cut stuff because the knife blades on this. Just terrible.
Ain't that
Sorry,
true?
Leatherman.
Yeah.
Jeez, Al, guys, come on.
Yeah. The blades aren't their strong point,
No.
but to
The
do
walk
everything
and talk of the instruments are pretty good, though.
yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah. So, so I started getting into that a little bit, and then I started like getting into the history stuff, and I started buying some Sheffield pieces and Zollingen pieces, and that kind of stuff. And I'm like, I could probably make one of these things.
Yeah.
And I don't know how old I was, but it was 2014, and my father-in-law is a great guy, and he was retiring in 2014. I'm like, what can I make? What can I do for him? Great guy. We were friends. We went fishing all over the world together, fly fishing, before I had kids.
Right.
They really dampened the fishing scene.
Kids.
So like, what can I do for him? The guy doesn't need money, he don't want for nothing. So I'm like, I can make him a knife. So,
Wow.
just,
Ambitious.
this story's been told 100 times before by every knife maker, but how hard could it be type of things.
Right. Yes.
I mean,
Tom
I
says
think
that every morning when he gets to the shop.
shoot.
How hard could it possibly be?
Ditto. I mean, that was like a 9-month process to make that knife. And I don't know why I was smart enough at the time. I wish I still had that intellect, but I was smart enough at the time to like document my experience.
Oh,
So, I mean, YouTube was around and there was some knife making stuff out there, but not like, all right, here's how you make a knife from A to Z. Like it just wasn't there. So like I knew I needed to like cut out a knife out of steel, like out of a bar of steel. And I got the David Boy book.
yep.
And some of that stuff didn't make any sense to me in that book. I had limited tools. I think I had a DeWalt cordless drill and some files.
Yeah.
I think that was about it. And a hacksaw. So I got some steel and I cut out this blade. Then I'm like, oh, okay, I know you need to harden it. Yeah, there wasn't much I could find on YouTube. So I think I went on like a knife forum type of blade forums or whatever it was. I don't think it was blade forums at the time, but and they're like, you need fire brick. You can make a kiln. So my neighbor's like, I got brick in my fireplace. We can take out, make a kiln. Well,
Wow.
so we did that. We disassembled his fireplace, and that's not the right kind of fire brick. It's
Right.
No,
So you
but
guys
I
like-
love the thought process. We'll just
Yeah.
take our house
Yeah.
apart.
Yeah, and we were just having fun. Like we just,
Yeah.
I didn't really care, but I was trying to learn, but I wasn't like hardcore into it. I was just trying to figure it out myself. I eventually figured out you needed soft fire brick to make a kiln. So like I found a place to order it from, and they shipped it to me for like $300 in shipping or
Yeah,
some
exactly.
nonsense. And then you figure out how to like carve it out with a spoon, make a hollow, inside this thing. And I don't know what they call it, like a 1-brick forge or a 2-brick forge or something like that. So real simple, crude way to heat treat a blade. And it worked great. I mean, I got a hard blade. They said heat it up till it wasn't magnetic and shove it in some oil and boom. So I wasn't prepared for the flames and burned all my hair off my arms.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. And I actually, my neighbor that helped me with all this, he was from Belgium. He was,
Really?
yeah. And he was deep into making chocolate at the time. And as most Belgians are, it seems like. And
Yeah.
he actually just sent me the video of this just a month ago. So I actually have the video of this, like of us doing this in his garage / driveway. It became apparent it was like kind of dangerous, so we moved it to the driveway.
Just try not to burn his
like
house
empty
down.
beer cans strewn around. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But we had a good old time, and it became I lived in a cul-de-sac at the time, so it became a whole neighborhood thing. guys standing around on the driveway drinking beer, watching all this unfold. So anyway, I got the knife done and presented to my father-in-law on a fishing trip, and man, I was hooked.
Yeah.
So the next knife, I was like, well, this was a fixed blade knife, so I was like, I have no need to stab a grown man, so but I do carry pocket knives, so I said, no, I'll just make a pocket knife. That should be pretty simple. So
There's that how hard could it be thing again.
yeah. So, and I had not increased my tool library at all. So I made my first pocket knife with a cordless drill and files.
Wow.
And, I still have it. I can barely open the thing,
I
but
was going to say.
I got it together. I'd be way too embarrassed to show it, but,
Yeah.
and then the sickness was on, boys. The sickness was on. Couldn't let it go.
So one fixed blade knife, and then you went to pocket knives.
Yeah. Yeah. And in fact,
Wow.
I didn't make another fixed blade for a couple of years after that. Yeah.
Check that out.
I've still made less than 10 fixed blades in my life.
Tell us about that first one that you made for your father-in-law. What did you use for handles? Like, what kind of knife was it?
I don't remember. It was some sort of rosewood. I mean,
Okay.
he's got it down in
Yeah.
his basement on some like display stand or something. Like it's a piece of artwork.
Right.
It was 1084. I do remember that
Okay.
because I did research steel that was easy to heat treat. And just rosewood handles and probably brass pins, I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I haven't seen it in a long time.
Awesome.
So it was drop point probably, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Or a spear. Some sort of something that looked knife shaped.
Knife looking.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't think Smithsonian's going to display it anytime soon.
You never know.
But it looked good because I went through a shit ton of sandpaper from Harbor Freight.
Yeah.
A lot.
I
A
bet.
metric truckload. And I did it on a cardboard table in my garage because I didn't even have a workbench.
Wow.
So I had no idea what I was doing. But I did it anyway.
I imagine your neighbors thought you were nutso. Did
Yeah. Well, all my neighbors drank beer, so they probably thought it was perfectly safe.
You're just entertainment.
Yeah, just something to do, something new to do other than talk about weather.
Hey, honey, the guy down the street's about to set some shit on fire. I got to go down there.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
Always looking for a reason. I got to help him with the knife. I'll be back around 2.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So what was tell us about the first traditional knife you made. Like what, just like something super simple, or did you actually put handles on it? Like what was that all about?
Oh yeah, it was there is no shape to describe it because it wasn't a pattern of any sort.
Okay.
By the time I was done with it, it was nothing, but it was maybe 3.5 inches. So I should back up. Pocket knives, we don't talk about blade length with pocket knives, traditional pocket knives. We just
Right.
talk about how long the knife is when it's closed.
Yeah. That took me a while to figure out when I first got into traditional knives, like other than my Boy Scout knife as a kid and whatever, right? When I was like, I should buy one of those. They're really nice and customs are very affordable compared to the other stuff I was interested in. I should check those out more. And everybody was always closed dimension. I'm like, how long is the blade? It's obviously shorter than the closed dimension, but like, it was very odd
It's
at first.
slightly shorter than the closed dimension.
Right.
I don't know. It's just how it is, boys. When you buy it, you could measure it.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even still to this day, I don't know how to measure blade length.
Yeah.
Do you measure it from like the tang or the choil or
There's several different ways.
still
I think-
unclear to me.
I think legally, like the government measures from the front of the handle. Like if it's open, like Arkansas used to. As a maker, I measure the actual cutting edge, from where the cutting edge starts to the tip.
Okay. I don't
but-
acknowledge any government regulations on things we can naturally own and make. So
Yeah,
they don't,
I mean,
they don't care about those things.
This explains Mike's move to Arizona.
100% constitutional carry was invented here, right?
There you go.
Well, before the framers invented it, but
Yeah.
yeah, it was pioneered here. So my neighbor's a gun manufacturer, so
Oh, nice.
we've pretty much got our driveway down. You know, it's locked down pretty good.
Right.
manufacturing what kind? Just curious.
Well, his name's Brandon. Shout out 617 Tactical.
Nice.
He does a lot of customization work.
Yeah.
Does a lot of lower work. He's got a couple of CNC machines.
Oh, cool.
So
Hey, Tom,
Yeah.
did
build your dream gun.
did Arkansas have a blade length law?
They don't anymore. They used to.
They used to.
Now it's entirely intent based, which I think makes more sense
Yeah.
to me.
Totally.
100%.
So if you try to stab somebody with a 2-inch screwdriver,
And get
you're
caught.
getting
Yeah.
in trouble. If you walk around with a 8-inch Bowie on your blade or on your belt, no problem.
Yeah.
So yeah, mind your own business and
That's right.
they'll leave you alone.
That's
Try
the
to
way
do-
do it.
Harm, they're gonna nail you.
Right. Regardless of the implement.
Yeah, I mean that just makes sense.
It's the way it should be. Yeah.
I mean there's still some weird stuff like you can carry a firearm, you can carry we do constitutional carry, we do concealed carry, which I have also. I can carry whatever knives I want, but if you have a set of knucks, dude,
Yeah.
you're getting in
Oh, is that
trouble.
right?
Michigan's still weird about that too.
Yeah. There's just some weird, I mean, if you want, I'll let you have the knucks and I'll have the gun, but whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Are you referring to cheese graters? I use those to grate my cheese
Yeah.
for my tacos,
Right.
officer.
Yes.
So I've got a question for you, Mike. So you're obviously full time now.
Yes. Since
What-
2020, right
Okay.
before COVID. Like
What did
3
you do
weeks.
before then? Just out of curiosity.
Okay, so I went to, a cornucopia of things, but
Okay.
so I learned like computer programming at a young age because my
Okay.
uncle worked for IBM. And so, and I was super nerd too in school. So yeah, like designed my like high school's computer network and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, your
And then I went to
20s back in the day.
Yeah, right. 14-4, shout out. Duke Nukem.
Right.
So I went to college for history, but I dropped out. I made it half a semester on a full ride and just didn't see what I was doing with it. So
Yeah.
dropped out. I framed houses for a year.
Okay.
And then I can't remember how this went about, but I got back into IT. And this is before Y2K. So I quickly, I'm like a whiz bang at networking. So I started designing networks for companies and hospitals. And so got into that in healthcare. And I hit the payload, the mother load right before Y2K, where companies were shelling out all kinds of money out of fear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the internet bubble happened in the spring of 2000. And I found myself as like a young, I forget how old was I, 21. And I had 2 pagers and was working way too many hours. And I had a couple friends that had become flight nurses.
Okay.
And they said, well, you should become a nurse, man, because we only work 3 days a week. And then we party 4.
Oh.
So I said, hey, I'll do that. So I went to nursing school. I'd
I'm
already
a
saved
nurse
up enough
also.
money to do that. Yeah. So I worked at what we call a gun knife club. Tom, you
ER?
might know. Yeah.
I did that. Yeah. 18 years.
Yeah. So I did it. I made it for a decade. Some good training out of Detroit receiving. And Worked in urban environments, if you will. So I'm good at like cracking chests, basically.
There you go.
That was the thing.
Are you still
They don't do
friends
that
with
as
the
much.
people that recommended that?
I mean, my first patient was first two patients were double gunshot wounds as a nurse,
Oh, wow.
like a full-fledged nurse. And on my first day as a nurse, a police officer, because the hospital I was working at had its own police precinct in the hospital, the police officer shot a guy dead, and he shot him dead over the top of my head. So that was my first day as a nurse. So
Yeah.
definitely a gun and knife club I was working at the time. So
Absolutely.
Pretty damn wild.
it was wild. And I mean, I was still in my, I was probably mid-20s by then. And that was super fun, super exciting for me. And then I realized later, like, that was terrible. But at the time, it was fun and
It
exciting.
seemed fun, but it was actually terrible.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It's funny how that works.
So anyway, I had worked at multiple hospitals, and two physicians I had worked with at different places had started a business together, and they knew I had an IT background. They needed an IT guy. So they hired me, and we grew that to like 250 people, and then got bought out by a big communication company that made Siri, called Nuance Communications out of Boston.
Okay.
And then like I stayed there for a while. I just kept getting promoted through, made my way up to middle management. It's like a terrible monster.com commercial from the 90s, but
Right.
made my way to middle management. And in 2019, I was working for my office was out of Melbourne, Florida. So I'd go down there during the wintertime a lot. And the guy I was working for, he was living on the ocean, and he had a yacht with twin screws and a 5-man crew. And I was driving a Honda Civic. And it's like, man, I was making knives pretty good at that point. It's like, man, I can't wait to get out of here. And then they started pushing a lot of corporate policies and policies that people are probably familiar with from 2019 and 2020 if you work for big companies.
Yeah.
And I just was unwilling to push that down to managers. And so I said, I'm out of the corporate environment. So I went full time making knives January 31st, 2020.
Wow.
Yep.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So that's a nutshell.
That's I think we've heard that story a number of times too, right? Where people, I mean, it sort of has to be that way to be a knife maker, right? That you have to be interested, not only interested and willing, but want to basically do something of your own. And that's not for everyone, right? There's a lot of people that aren't wired for that, or don't think they are, I guess is maybe a better way to say it. But
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I knew from day one, after I made that first knife, I was hooked. So I started saving money because I knew, I started poking around like knife people that make knives do. And you're not going to make a lot of money doing this. So I started saving my money so I could do this full time.
Yeah.
I didn't know that COVID was going to happen. The government would inflate your money by 2x, but so that money went fast. But
Right.
I saved a bunch of money with the intention of going full time and knowing I wouldn't be able to pay bills for a little bit. But.
So as you were coming up to that time when you made the decision to make the jump, by that point you said you were making knives pretty well at that point. So you had equipment of some amount and some kind of place to work, I assume, like whether it was at home or a shop or something.
Yeah, typical garage deal,
Yeah.
set up in the garage, making the wife park out in the driveway, that type of thing.
Right.
Yeah. And I figured out how to heat and cool the place and how to run more wiring and more electrical to the garage and that kind of stuff. So, and I had started to assemble equipment. I didn't have it all, but I had enough to get going.
Yeah.
I made the jump way too early, but also it's how life goes sometimes. So,
Right.
unfortunately that company, they got bought up by Microsoft, and I'd probably doing this podcast from my yacht right now, but
Right. Yeah.
it's how the cookie crumbles sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had slowly, as I made money, bought equipment and that type of thing. So gain skills. I mean, making pocket knives where the final steps of making the knife is beating the living daylights out of it with a
Right.
hammer. Like, there's a lot of steps involved and a lot of luck and a lot of processes. So it takes a long time to pick up. I would say I'm part of a new generation because I did reach out for help early on and got denied. So by some of the old school guys.
Oh,
Yeah. So and this might have been a prideful piece in my psyche, but I said, when I get more experienced, I'm going to share everything I know. I'm not holding back any secrets.
yeah.
So I feel like I'm part of that kind of newer generation. And if you're making slip joints in the United States, I probably know who you are and know you or met you in person.
Yeah.
And I mean, we freely share everything. It's a small group of people doing it, and we're in constant communication, basically.
Yeah, I love that aspect of knife making now. It seems like the guys like you and me that have been doing this for a while, Sean, we share everything. It's like, I think it's because when we grew up, people literally wouldn't show you anything or even their shop, It was wild.
Oh, yeah, man. A lot of standoffish cats, a lot of dudes trying to keep stuff, quote unquote, secret because it was their proprietary bullshit or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Or at least they viewed it as their proprietary
hundreds
bullshit.
and hundreds of years. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
that,
for sure.
that mindset holds us all back.
100%.
Yeah.
The new mindset, and this is throughout the knife world, I think now, right? Pushing each other, sharing openly and freely. I mean, if you've never made a knife, I'm not going to sit here and hold your hand, but if you've shown effort, I'm going to share with you whatever you need to know to improve.
What's the saying? A rising tide raises all ships.
That's right.
Exactly.
That's right.
So,
And competition's a nice, healthy thing, I think.
Well, man, back in those early days, what were your influences? Was it other makers? Was it brands? What was, really getting
sounds
you
like
going
hate
there?
kept them awake at night, kept them warm.
Well,
There was a little bit of that.
In addition to that,
Sometimes my immature side does creep out.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
now, dude, I've accomplished a lot just through pure fucking spite. Don't underestimate.
there you go.
Keeps him
It
warm
is a
at night.
motivator. It is a motivator. Yeah, honestly, that did hurt.
Sure.
It wasn't like I had never made a knife. Maybe I showed work and it reached out. And yeah, maybe I didn't know the guy, but I said, here's what I've made. Here's what I've done. I'm really struggling with XYZ. Can you help me out? Nothing. It's like, take a hike, kid. I really liked the factory knives. And then by then I was pretty deep into Sheffield history and German knife history and Italian knife history. So I kind of knew a little bit of aesthetics and how things were done back in like the 1800s. So I was trying to replicate some of that. But as far as like guys that were inspirational, that'd be like Richard Rogers at the time, I think was still making pocket knives.
Yeah.
He was making really fancy stuff.
Yes.
And Tony Bowes, of course.
Yep.
In slip joint world, Tony Bowes is the GOAT.
No doubt.
So he was a big inspiration, and he gave me, just a few words of encouragement and went so far, like big time. So I think those were the guys. And then there were other guys that were like not in the traditional world that were inspirational, like Sal Monaro. I've always enjoyed his work and enjoy him as a person. So, things like that were inspirational that I look towards.
I think it's an interesting thing, right? Like, we see a lot of times when folks take a little different direction from sort of the standard set of guardrails, right? I mean, various parts of the knife world have these. Well, Nick Russi, when he was on, he referred to it as dogma, which is probably fair. Like there, certain things, there's like a rote process, and that's just how you do it, right? Whether it's forging blades or whatever. And one of the things that feels like, I think we've had Gus talk about it before, a strong set of guardrails in the slip joint world is, hey man, there's a set of patterns and that's what people build, right? Yeah. And if you stray off that path, well then shit, you're on your own, buddy, right? Like you're, I don't know, I don't want to over exaggerate.
Pair to do something.
Yeah,
like that.
Exactly. Yeah. Like there's this interesting mentality, at least historically that's been the case, it seems like. But it's kind of cool. I really like when I see guys kind of go off on a tangent where it's like, oh, they're clearly taking influence from someplace else and going somewhere with it. And sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't work, right? And they got to double back. But there's been some really cool stuff that's kind of evolved through those influences outside of just the traditional life world and in a situation like yours, right?
Yeah, for sure. I'm not a super creative person, but I'm kind of like a old school King Solomon, nothing new under the sun kind of guy. But a lot of this, most of the stuff that's been done with pocket knives has been done for 200 years. Between the Sheffielders and the Germans, and pretty much really the design aesthetics came from France, really, when you start to trace the stuff. But the British went to town there in Sheffield and iterated the living daylights out of things, and it's pretty much all been done. But there have been guys that have iterated and tweaked and made new things. Of course, like Jared Ozer, be like a guy that you can think of right now, or a buddy of mine, Evan Nicolaitis out of Sarasota, has also, not only does he understand the aesthetics of traditional knives out of Sheffield, but he's also, pushing designs. So tweaking things and doing things that we haven't actually seen before. But I'm not a creative guy. I stick to pretty traditional patterns for the most part. Making pocket knives is extremely difficult, at least for this dumb guy. When I started, the cordless drill.
Right.
I can't believe I was making knives with that. In fact, I got my first grinder. You guys will enjoy this story, Tom and Sean. I got my first 2x72, and dude, that thing was, I stuck a blade in there, and it just ate it. So I went back and made pocket knives with files for another 10 or 20 knives.
Oh, wow.
Before I had the nerve to go back to the grinder. I was like, just file it for 4 hours.
Wow.
So, yeah.
I'm taking it that was not a variable speed grinder.
It was.
Oh, shit.
I'm just that dumb. Yep.
Wow.
You were that committed to it.
Yeah, that's it.
That's
committed.
Should be, are, whichever, right?
But I can push a file. So I'm all about that.
More control for sure. A little too much horsepower with the grinder coming at you.
Yeah. It's like, what have I done? I spent all my money on this grinder and can't even make a knife with it.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's kind of my story. Sticking to it type of thing, and we'll see where it goes next. I'm grinding it out. So I'm playing this for the long run. I'm doing the Tony Bose thing.
Yeah.
I'm putting in the reps. As we speak, it's July, early July, and I just sold my 300th pocket knife.
Nice.
So you don't just bang these things out overnight.
Yeah.
So I've been at this for a while now. And I'm just putting in reps, playing the long game and building up my reputation. And that's all you have as a knife maker is your name. I have a famous name. That's kind of nice. But,
Hey, you lucked out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did get a little help. So I am self-taught, but a couple of years ago, I got to know Todd Davison,
Oh yeah.
who's out of Kosciuszko, Mississippi.
Yep.
And Tom, did you ever run into Todd at all or not?
I haven't.
Okay. So Todd, A.G. Russell tried to hire Todd many years ago. Todd is an old Harley guy that has stories that last for miles. But A.G. Russell tried to hire him, and he went up there and talked to him. And I guess they wouldn't let him smoke in the shop, which is kind of comical when all I was going to do is grind blades all day.
Yeah.
And
Only lead, no tobacco. Or dust,
Yeah,
steel
exactly.
dust.
So he got back in his pickup truck and drove back to Mississippi, or I think it was actually he was living in Kansas at the time. But so he did teach me a little bit like how to hustle, how to stay moving in the shop.
Yeah.
Which was a big key. Like the pocket knives take hundreds of steps, so getting sidetracked on your phone or not having smart processes can really hurt you bad when you're making one. So he taught me how to hustle and kind of instilled like, you need to make hundreds of knives before you start getting fancy. So there are some super talented guys out there that I'm friends with that haven't made hundreds of knives, that have made fancy knives, but I'm just not that guy. So I'm grinding it out for the long run. So I'm committed. I've been in this for many years. What's that?
I love what you're doing. I love when people take simple materials and do it so well. It's like so clean and crisp, and it's like a beautiful thing, right? That to me, simple
That's
done
the highest
well,
compliment I could ever hope for.
Yeah, simple done well and clean is so much better than fancy gaudy done okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, there are definitely some amazing makers out there. I'm not one of those, guys, at least not yet. So, but I do focus on making the cleanest knife I can.
Yeah, they look amazing. So I've got kind of a little bit of a question for you. It seems like, you're very traditional on the patterns and on the construction. Have you ever thought about doing like a modern construction, or what are your thoughts on like?
Are you talking about the dreaded S word, like screws?
Yeah, I'm curious on your thoughts on that.
Oh, see, I just talked about rocking the boat. Now you got to bring this up.
This is what makes great conversation, though.
Okay.
Hey, man, sacred cows make awesome hamburgers.
That's right. That's right. The best ones.
I'm just curious, your thoughts.
Yeah, never say never type of thing. I'm not super interested in making, I love all kinds of knives.
Right, me too.
So, will I always make traditional pocket knives? I don't know. But I probably won't put screws in traditional pocket knives. I won't say I will never, but
yeah.
And as far as like materials, will I like start doing titanium liners or things like that? Probably not. I'm just I try to work with decent modern materials that are workable. It's all stainless steel in those knives. I'm not like using German silver. That's what it used to be called, guys. German silver until the early 1900s.
39, 40.
That became a dirty word.
Yeah. Like
somebody got propped up by Wall Street bankers. I'm not going to mention names. Yeah, so nickel, silver, brass. I don't typically use those materials, just stainless steels. But I don't know what I'll do in the future, but I'll probably stay fairly traditional. I do collect like traditional knives. From mainly Sheffield, some German knives as well. So I'm pretty big into it. I enjoy it.
Do you have a favorite?
The pins are hidden in the bolsters,
Yeah. Do you have a favorite pattern or blade shape?
I'm pretty big into straight blades. So your sheep's foots and that type of thing, because it's 2025 and you're mainly using your knife to open Amazon boxes these days. So
let's be real.
Your sway back Warncliffe is I love the lines on that. It's a beautiful piece.
Oh, thanks. So I try to do like a pattern, and then I'll try and like make the living daylights out of it and perfect it as best I can by hand. So I'll make 50, 60 of those knives, and then I'll move on to another pattern. I have taught myself CAD, so I can draw in CAD, and I'll take pictures out of catalogs, or I'll take photos of like old knives I have and model it up in CAD, and then I'll laser on steel, and then to the bandsaw I go.
So I was going to say, I thought I saw you using a laser to like put your template on the blade.
Yeah, so I'll spot all my holes with the laser, so I can catch it with the drill bit. So it's basically like CNC kind of.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
very
just
cool tech.
Little things like that. I do use the hell out of my laser. So stamping blades is like, I don't know if I'd want to go back to that.
Nope.
Because when you stamp a little thin blade, it warps it. So you have to be able to flip that blade over and hit it again on the other side, just the same amount. So I try to forget that part of knife making, and the laser has been a game changer as far as putting like my maker's mark perfectly centered, perfectly oriented. Just little things like that, and laying out my knives. I don't water jet or laser. I send my knives out to be cut. I don't know why, but I just don't. I just like to control my processes and time frames, and so I just sit there at the bandsaw, wasting hours.
Something to be said for keeping it all in-house if you can, right?
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah.
You can also use it to lay out like file work, I think, maybe.
Some might say you could do file work with the laser.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, so like coining, coining, that type of stuff that was traditionally done with rotary tools by the old-time cutlers. And then, with a jeweler's saw, that's how I learned, was with a jeweler's saw. And you sit there and saw liners till your eyes got crossed. You can do that with laser now.
Yeah.
You can do threading on bolsters with lasers. You can pretty much do anything you want to with the laser. I don't try to get super carried away. Like I still push a file pretty good. So like fluting and that type of thing, I'm just filing it in after the knife's already finished up.
Nice.
Something super classy about a fluted bolster. I love a fluted bolster. It looks so good.
Yeah. It's a nice touch.
Yeah.
It is sometimes. It's a good money loser. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of time to clean up the flute.
Yeah, right.
So you can, to a polish.
Yeah.
And so it will drive you crazy because you want to make it look perfect.
Right.
And you're trying to make it look perfect on something that's round that you shape by hand, so it's not perfectly rounded. So it will drive you crazy.
I like the approach of pick a pattern, make a bunch of them as part of like, I don't know, maybe mastering is too strong a word, but kind of nailing a pattern, right? And kind of getting it to where, okay, I'm good at making this one, and then pick another.
Next.
Yeah.
I've talked to a few makers that have done that, and it seems like a really healthy approach. I mean, and maybe, I don't know if it's great for business doing it that way, but as far as, what's the whole 10,000 hour thing, right? Like,
yeah, exactly. That's the approach.
I'm going to hone the craft, and it's part of just part of doing this whole thing.
It doesn't work for everybody. Like some guys would get bored to death after making two of the same thing. But for me, I mean, I just love the knives. I never get sick of it, even when things go wrong, and they do go wrong, and, stuff gets thrown, there's holes in drywall, or my old house, there's probably 50 knives laying in the bottom of a creek. So,
yeah,
those things, but I still love it. I got the sickness, and I'll probably have it till I die.
I think somebody has maybe it's Marsh, has their garage door. The inner panel of their garage door is all jacked up from throwing blades at it.
I am missing a door on like one of my toolboxes that I kicked off.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely a couple holes in the drywall and throwing knives. 'Cause you spend 50 hours on a knife making it by hand,
Yeah.
and then it doesn't work out. It's like you don't get any money for that. You could show up for work every day and have a bad day, and
Right.
you're still getting paid, but you
I
don't get any
usually
money.
stick them in the vise and break them.
I like that. That is a more mature way of
Then
going
I can
about
see
it,
like the
instead of
grain.
like beating it with a hammer on the floor or something.
Yeah, it
like
feels like an experiment, right? Like I'm just checking the heat treat.
that. Right.
stuff.
Getting that 90-degree bend. Yeah.
Tom's trying to translate failure to science. I like that.
Right.
Yeah. That's
So,
super
question
true.
for you. In your shop, what's your shop tool setup look like? Are you running a buffer or a mill or what all
Okay.
what do you got?
So I do have more than a cordless drill nowadays.
Oh, upgraded.
Right. So I have a 3-car garage and I've walled off one bay. So I've got 26 by 14 is my shop space.
Nice.
And then I've got benches down the middle. So when you're making pocket knives, the key is, this is probably the key for all knife makers, but you want as much equipment jammed into as small of a space as possible. So you're not walking a country mile every day. So I've got a long bench on one wall. I've got 3 vertical grinders, 2 horizontal grinders, buffer, anything that makes
is that
dust.
a 14-inch wheel I see?
Yeah, 14-inch wheel. I'd love to have a much bigger wheel, but they
I thought it
get
was
spendy.
14. It's a
Yeah,
nice size wheel.
It works for what I do, but I'd like to have a 20-inch for sure, or even bigger.
Yeah, all of us would.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I don't like the whine of the motors on Bird King grinders, so I've never pursued that. It has a kind of a high pitched whine that aggravates me. So I don't like to wear hearing protection. So I like my stuff real quiet. And then I've got a surface grinder. Like that's really key for making pocket knives is surface
Right.
grinder. Old school Bridgeport stone wheel that I got out of a guy's basement. That was an adventure.
Nice.
2,000 pounds out of his basement.
Oh yeah, dude, those basement retrievals are always something.
Yeah.
They never mentioned that in like the Craigslist or the Facebook marketplace ads. Whether like, just air compressor, I've got a couple mini mills. I've got
Yep.
an old jig boring machine I use as a mill. I've got a couple drill presses. Nothing like you don't need a lot of equipment to make pocket knives.
Do you use a buffer of any kind?
I do. I've got like a ball door buffer. I've got two sewn wheels on it. So I do buff most of my stuff just lightly.
Nice.
Nothing crazy.
So one of the things I do when I do the fluted bolsters and stuff, I have a felt wheel on the buffer that I use to go in, and it's like a medium felt wheel that it's hard enough that you can, or actually it's I think, and it's hard enough that you can shape it for the flute, and then you can use like some buffing compounds to finish those out.
Ooh, I love that. I do have like pin polishers from Rio
Oh, yeah.
Grande that I've also stick in the flute sometimes, but most of the time I'm wrapping sandpaper over brass rod
Oh, yeah.
and just getting after it. But it does. Your fingers get sore. So it depends what shape my fingers are in that day as to how I go about the flutes.
Right.
Because I grind my blades by hand, so after a couple blades, my fingers are turning into hamburger because you're grinding hardened steel.
So for me, when I'm grinding super thin blades, oftentimes, we got calluses on our index fingers where the blades rest. So oftentimes those will be up against the finer grip belts.
100%.
And basically pretty soon there's blood everywhere. And I'm like, where's that coming from? But it's like,
a pinpoint
grind
of
through-
blood. Yeah, I get
Right?
a pinpoint of blood. Yeah.
yeah. So
Every
what
knife.
what I've done and what I've learned, and you can try this or not, but I use Bounty paper towels in my shop. They're everywhere. So I'll pull one of those over wherever it's bleeding, and I'll put a little bit of super glue where the callus normally is, seals it off. the paper towel becomes like armor. I pull the excess off, and you could, while it's still drying, you can push it down a little bit and smooth it. Basically, that's armor for when I'm grinding those thin blades. And then at the end of the day, you just peel it off. And you're good to go.
That is
Works really good.
This might be the greatest day of my life.
Wow.
First of all, I'm getting tips from Tom on grinding, which is like, talking to an astronaut.
That works.
Don't
though.
blow his head up, though. Come on. Don't
great.
do that.
Well,
Try to talk.
I'm not going to blow it up too big because I
Okay.
don't think we landed on the moon, but
We didn't. Let's be honest here. That's some bullshit.
yeah. Telling me slide rules got us there. Come on. And Jack Black's mom got us back home.
There you go.
But
It's a great story.
that's supposedly a true story. I love that idea, and I've tried like Elastoplast.
I've tried all the little neoprene slips, all that stuff.
Tried that stuff, and I just keep going back to I'll just bleed every day. I just don't care.
Try the paper towel.
But
They peel off at the end of the day, and you're good all day. You don't
that's
bleed.
life changing. The people
you think
listening are probably like, "What an idiot!" But this is huge.
If
for
you
me.
think about it before you start, then you never bleed. So yeah.
Oh, that's great. Now I'm going to trade you, Tom.
Yeah.
And I have. I'm like talking to a hero here, like Tom, like grinding blades. Come on, I'm getting advice from Tom. This is great. I'm going to trade you a tip.
All
right. And Todd Davison taught me this. Throw away those brawny paper towels and get yourself some Viva paper towels.
Oh,
Really?
yeah. They're different.
Oh yeah, they
Viva.
hit different. That's all.
We don't
I
have
use.
them anywhere here.
Select.
Yeah,
the
you can
size.
get them at Walmart.
I'll look. It'll be hard.
I'll
to
take a
trade, though.
picture of it. I know you should be able to get them.
Viva not only last longer, absorb better, but they don't scratch knives.
Better than Bounty?
100%. They're like using a microfiber.
I was just going to say, they're almost like a microfiber.
I'll check them out. I know I like the blue towels, but the problem with the blue towels, in my
Blue towels are
opinion,
garbage.
well, they're too expensive and they're too heavy. You want to keep them and save them. I use the Bounties like they're free, It's like we go through a bunch of them every week.
Yeah, Viva will change your life, and you can buy them in bulk. You can buy.
I'll check it out.
12.
Viva.
They're weirdly stretchy, the Viva
100%.
paper towels.
Yeah,
Weirdly
I'm pretty sure they have like cancer-causing agents in them. They're that good.
They-
They're like
they have,
the
right?
asbestos of paper towels.
There you go.
Dude, that's just a Prop 65 warning. That's on everything. Disregard.
Yeah, they just put
disregard.
that on there for funsies.
Right.
Oh shit.
Oh, shoot.
I heard Tom say, I don't know if Sean had the same reaction, but I heard Tom say, oh yeah, when I flute bolsters, here's how I do it. I'm like, this motherfucker's never fluted a bolster. What is he talking about? And I went and looked, and there it is, not far down his page, the Alpha with the Tanto blade with a
Nice.
bolster, with a fluted bolster. So I take it
Yeah.
back.
I flute
Dude,
bolsters,
I'm totally
I
getting a
flute
felt wheel.
backspacers, all that shit.
Yeah.
Just not very often anymore.
Okay.
But I have done it.
I'm like, this guy's giving out fluted bolster advice. He didn't flute a bolster. That's like asking for hand rub advice.
I know how to do this shit. I just don't choose to do a lot of it.
It is
know
a
what I'm
dumb
saying?
way. Like, it's a stupid way to, like, putting flutes is a money loser in knives. But I don't know. It just breaks up because
They
my
look
knives are simple. It
fantastic.
just breaks up the knife a little bit.
Yeah, they look super cool. I love fluted bolsters. If that's an option when I'm buying a traditional, always fluted. It always looks so good. And it feels nice in your hand too. I like that.
Yeah.
Mark was doubting. Come on,
I know.
man.
I had to scroll. I was doubting hard. I'm like, what the
Throwing
fuck
some
is he
shade.
talking about? What is
Throwing
he talking
shade.
about?
Right there, like 3 lines down.
I know. I as soon as I opened it on Instagram, because I went to your Facebook and I'm like, I don't see a damn fluted bolster anywhere. And I opened your Instagram, I'm like, okay. There's one.
There's more than one out there. I don't know if there's more than 2.
That's the validation I was looking for right there. Right there.
There is. Pete's got a couple.
Yeah.
At least one.
Pete's got a couple of everything, though. That's not even reasonable
He's got a
threshold.
pretty awesome collection.
He does. He does.
I like doing backspacers more than the bolsters as far as like actually doing them.
Where you run the flute down the length?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
A lot easier to do also,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
They look so cool. I only have a couple knives that have a fluted backspacer. I'll also look at that sand mine knife you made for me. I don't remember if it's fluted or not. It might be.
I don't think so.
Send it back to him. Have him fluted.
Yeah,
Likes
right.
it so much.
I don't
right.
think so.
All we need is a reblade, new scales, and fluted backspacer, Tom.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Mm-hmm.
Is that so much to ask?
It is.
Also, I want you to put my logo on it, if that's okay.
You all right? I'll just grind the other one off. That's stupid anyway.
You regrind shit all the time.
I know, right?
Oh, too funny.
I don't know if you guys want to talk about like one thing that might be interesting is like when I moved, like moving a shop.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's a great one. Tell us about that. That'd be everybody says it's a nightmare. Was it a nightmare? Or was it a beautiful reset? I get to do this from scratch. It's going to be wonderful.
Okay, so when we decided we were moving, I bought a house here in Arizona. My wife hadn't seen the house. I came out
wow.
and bought the thing. And this is in what year are we in? 2025
Allegedly.
I don't know. Maybe.
AD? Are we allowed to say that anymore? 2023, I bought this house. And so I had to sell the house in Ohio and Cincinnati. And it had quite a bit of questionable electric work done in the garage there.
The old house or the new house?
In
Cincinnati.
In the old house, yeah. So I had to hide all that up. But
are we naming names on who performed such questionable electrical work?
Yeah, a contractor of sorts. Like that.
Of sorts.
I don't think he was licensed. Listen, I'm not. We're all adults here. We don't need to acknowledge the authority of others
We don't have to
anymore.
go into all that nonsense.
We're not children.
Right.
So I got a semi trailer after figuring out like how do you move across the country?
Right.
So like I researched it. I'm like, I'm just going to rent a semi trailer. And so ABF has a like subsidiary where they rent their trailers out. So those are like, you ever see those like tandem trailers rolling down the highways, ABF?
Yeah.
So you can rent one of those bad boys. So they'll drop it off and you get like 3 days to fill it up. And then they'll move it to wherever you're going. And then you've got a few days to unpack it type of thing.
Yeah.
And I forget what it was at the time, like $8,000, something like that to do this. And I'm thinking to myself, and they had weight loads. So I'm like, how much does all my equipment weigh? You know, like my surface grinder alone weighs over 2,000 pounds. And so you start doing these mental calculations. And so I'm like, well, I know like from having a trailer, you want to load all your heavy stuff first. So I'm going to put my shop in there first. So that was a nightmare because my garage wasn't level with my driveway. So I couldn't get a forklift in there. It was just like I had to use a manual forklift and a pallet jack and an engine hoist. It was like nightmarish. And then I had two buddies that I beard up pretty good that helped me slide stuff around. And steel equipment, like cast iron steel, does not slide on aluminum truck bed floors, I learned as well. So we got all that, my shop in the semi-trailer, and we couldn't get all the house in there, but I got my shop in there.
Wow. I was going to say $8,000 is cheap for moving across country with a shop and a house, but
I know.
shop and part of the house. Let's just leave it at that.
So I rented a U-Haul too, and I have a little Tacoma, so I hauled the U-Haul trailer behind the Tacoma across the country. So I did that, and I shipped a car out here, which my son immediately took out in the desert and destroyed. So
Yeah.
that's all 16-year-olds are wanting to do.
We
But,
talked about rites of passage before. That's one of them. Let's be
100%. Yeah. It's the same as with the knife thing.
right.
If you got a 16-year-old boy, you can count on that vehicle getting destroyed.
Something's getting wrecked.
Yeah. And then I got it here, and I'm in the desert. Like, I didn't even have a driveway to the house yet because this is a new house, and so I just have dirt and rocks. So I went down to the local equipment rental place, and I thought, well, I'll just rent one of those like heavy duty 4-wheel drive looking type of forklifts.
Yeah.
I'm like, no biggie. I've got, I knew this was going to be an expense. I'll just do it. And they looked at me like I was crazy. Like, in Arizona, you just can't walk into an equipment rental place and get something. You've got to go through a background check and credit check.
Really?
Because equipment walks off across the border, I guess, was what I was explaining. I don't know if it really happens. But. So now time's ticking. I got this semi-trailer in front of my house, and I got to get that shop off of that thing.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, how am I going to get that equipment off of that truck? The only way I got that truck equipment in the front of that trailer was my driveway was sloped downhill, so I was able to slide it somewhat easily with the help of many men. Now I don't have any men, just myself and my kids. And I thought, well, maybe I could build some sort of crane on the back of my truck. I went around like other places to try and I went to Home Depot to see if I could rent something, with a bucket or something and a chain, But anyway, I ended up getting my winch for my truck. I took it and mounted it on a steel plate, and I drilled into the floor of the semi-trailer. I put like 20 lag bolts in that thing. And I winched all the equipment up to the end of the back end of the trailer. And then I would unbolt that winch, slide that stuff past either with the engine hoist or brute force. And then I would reattach it to the winch and slide it down the ramp of the back of the trailer. Oh, yeah. Yeah. The classic, like, don't do this type of stuff.
Yeah.
So, I knew not to be a hero and not to put myself under that equipment. But it was sketchy. And I worked, and I had a collector that was here in Phoenix area, and he came and helped me as well. And we worked till, 3 or 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning because I had to, they were supposed to come pick that trailer up at 7 a.m.
Oh, wow.
Oh, geez.
I told that guy we'd be done by 5 and 5 p.m.
Yeah, right.
He's no longer your customer.
Yeah, right.
I buy him beers for a year after that. But those guys had come pick that semi-trailer up for another week.
Oh, no.
Dun, dun, dun. But yeah, it's fun building a shop from scratch when you know how you want it.
Yeah.
I ran a whole bunch of electrical. I ran a whole bunch of 220 lines and 110s, and I just got to lay it all out. And I'm in the desert, so I've got my dust collector outside, just free blowing.
Yeah.
So not the greatest way because you blow all your air conditioned air out into the desert, but it sure is nice. So.
You didn't happen to use the same electrical contractor that did your Cincinnati garage, did you?
I actually did. That guy was available for that job.
Wow.
So I used the same contract.
Okay.
License and bond and
licensable
rates.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Surprisingly, he was available exactly on my schedule.
Hey, listen, guys, running electrical is not, we're not building rocket ships here. If rocket ships even exist.
Love it.
Yeah.
All right.
So, there you go.
Yeah. Well, like you said, the idea of being able to plan it out, that part seems like dreamland. Fabulous. Perfect.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the whole generate your own safety training video doesn't sound like that much fun. Things not to do when you're moving equipment.
Yeah. Well, I would say renting a semi-trailer is pretty nice though. It works really good. I can't remember the subsidiary's name, but you can do this pretty easily. So it worked good.
Yeah. So you rent the trailer and then do you pay the same company to haul it, or do you go find someone to
Yeah, it's all like it's a
package deal?
It's a one meal deal.
Yeah,
so
that's real
you
cool.
just pay the lump sum and they don't even have to drop it at your house. Like if you're not going to be there for a month, they'll just put it in their like
Park it somewhere
nearest storage area and
right.
bring it over to you when you want it. So it worked nice.
Very cool. Ever since I accused Tom of being overextending himself on his fluted bolster experience, he's peppering me with messages on Instagram
God,
of various fluted work that he's done in the past.
he's sharing photos
Yes.
from his Instagram profile.
Yeah. He's used the words evidence a few times. I mean, it's like, come on,
As
man.
evidenced by.
Yes.
I'm just saying.
Please see below. Mike knows from corporate email nonsense. Please see my note below.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
Oh, shoot. Now, one thing I did lose, Sean may understand what I'm saying. One thing I lost in the move was my sharpening belt.
Oh.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from.
And I know that because I've been in Sean's shop, I know he knows what I'm talking about. So I'm just
I've still got the sharpening belt that was hanging on my wall when you visited.
He's like, don't touch that. You can do whatever you want in the shop, look around, but don't touch that belt.
Wow.
I got a separate peg that has my 2 sharpening belts.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they get
Same
jacked
here.
up, you're sad.
Oh, yeah. So I'm just now getting my sharpening belt where I want it to be
Established.
after a year and a half. Yeah.
Well, it's a break-in process.
It really is. I mean,
Check that out.
Have you ever used any of the cork belts?
I have a cork belt that I've loaded with green compound.
There's a whole break-in process on those too.
Yeah.
Like I can remember the first one I used, Bob Dozier was teaching me, and he had me like grind on it and then grind on it with like a coffee mug or some kind of crap.
Oh,
It was
wow.
wild.
yeah. I shoved a steel bar into it, like mild steel.
Did that. It was crazy.
I don't actually use it very often. I don't know
ever
why.
use it.
Okay.
Not anymore.
Do
But
you
he
use felt
was
wheels?
teaching me how to do a mirror polish, and
Okay.
that was,
That was part of the process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bob's coming after you for sharing that mug trip, ceramic coffee mug
Shoot.
tip.
Yeah.
Was I not supposed to?
I don't know. Oops.
No, Bob did like a shop tour before. I've seen it on YouTube.
100%. There are places that no one has
was
seen
gonna
other
say.
than a couple people.
Secret spots we've heard of.
I worked for Bob for over 3 years, and I never saw the sheath shop ever.
Oh, is that right?
No, it was separate. It was in a trailer next to the shop. And if he was in there and the phone rang or something and it was for him, you go knock on the door. Then you had to turn away. He'd poke his head out the corner and you'd talk to him like backwards almost,
Oh, wow.
You had to bring down the cones of silence to speak to him.
Never saw it. Never. That's fine. Whatever. It's not rocket
Yeah.
science. I figured that shit out.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there are so like, if you go to Great Eastern Cutlery in Titusville, Pennsylvania,
Mm-hmm.
you can just tour the place, look around, but they will not show you the room where they jig and dye bone.
Oh,
Isn't that
Yes, I
funny?
feel. No
interesting.
way. They won't even acknowledge the room exists behind 2 double doors in the northwest corner of the shop.
I assume you do your own jigging on the bone that you use.
I have. Since I've moved to Arizona, I have shied away from using natural handle material, which I dearly love.
Makes sense.
Stag I was buying from Culpeper mainly, or ripping off of eBay old cutlery sets.
Right.
And bone, I had started buying slabs and jigging and dyeing, but I am just way too nervous about movement. I'm old enough to remember like stories from like USN of like people coming to Vegas and hearing cracking and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
right.
Yep.
And I've heard way too many horror stories of people sending stuff from dry climates to like South Florida and stag pulling off the liner, or ivory, goat horn, I believe, swelling. So I have shied away from it. It's hurt me financially to do that, and maybe collector wise as well. But I'm mainly using like synthetic materials, mostly micarta. I use a lot of rich light, which is micarta as well. But.
So, assuming your favorite materials now are micarta?
It's pretty much all I've used. I've done I did some bone. I went to the Eugene show this spring.
Yeah.
And I took some bone with me, some jig bone, but I have not made the leap. I did buy a humidor, so I do have stag and bone in the humidor, and I'm trying to like keep it at like 50-ish% humidity. And if we do have a good like monsoon season where it gets slightly humid here, like above 7% humidity, then I'm going to try and take a crack at it. But it's just like, I can't have a knife coming back to me. It's like, it's earth shattering.
Can't unscrew it, fix it. Yeah.
So difficult. Yeah.
So do you have a preference on color, paper, linen, canvas?
I love all the things. I'm a huge Bob Loveless fan. So OD green canvas.
It's hard to beat.
Yeah.
And I actually have some of that old stuff that he was getting from the supplier in California.
Oh, wow.
That I'm sitting on. So I'm pretty sure it also has asbestos in it.
Yes.
But
100% chance.
Rags hit or miss. Like I've got a couple good suppliers of rags, so I'm kind of picky on that. But I love canvas micarta, and I love rich light. So I'm a huge fan of rich light, which most collectors don't care about, but I love using the stuff.
I weirdly had a few peel off, and I stopped. I should probably look at rich light again.
Sean's a rich light guy, aren't you, Sean?
A lot of guys use it.
I found as long as I work it slow and with a relatively new belt, it's pretty smooth sailing.
Yeah. The big thing for a guy like me is can it withstand peening?
Yeah, right.
And I don't want to sit there and delicately peen like it's pearl or something like that. So that's the big thing for me. Now, I understand from, I don't know if guys know TJ Schwartz, but he uses rich light, and he's experienced it moving a little bit longitudinally. So I guess, all things can move. And I've seen, like, I've gotten micarta that's warped. So,
Yeah.
So all things can move, but I'm looking for stuff that's relatively stable. Like if I ship it to, the Philippines or Singapore or South Florida or wherever, I don't want to get an email 3 weeks later saying that it's come off the liner or something like that.
So, Mike, we should have said this at the beginning of the show, but you do your own podcast. You want to talk about the podcast that you do, and you got a guy that does it with you, right? I think one of our former guests, a recovering Mark of the Maker guest.
He's recovering. Yeah.
It's probably still recovering.
No, you enjoyed that. I've got a podcast called The Catch Bit Show. The Catch Bit is a piece in some pocket knives. It's like a spacer where you have knife blades that come out of multiple ends. Sometimes you'll have a thick blade on one side and a thinner blade on the other. And the catch bit's kind of like a spacer that makes up the difference.
Yeah.
So that's the genesis of the name. And I do it with a friend of mine, Neil Panchard, who's been on your show at least twice,
I think. Yeah.
Twice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's a great historian. He was, Neil's kind of a private guy, so he's got some fascinating stories. Super cool guy to know. But he was an HVAC contractor. How's that?
There you go.
But he is a great historian and loves pocket knives like me. And we do a fair amount of banter on there. We try to have interesting guests. So we're trying to do a little bit of what you guys do is preserve some of the history from some of the old guys.
Love it.
And we have a good time. So
yeah. So folks can find it at all the normal podcast places, the Catch Bit Show.
100%.
Yeah.
The Catch Bit Show. We don't do video, so no YouTube or any of that. We're just old school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I only publish to YouTube. It's funny. We publish to YouTube, but I publish a static image. And I was like, well, I'd only do it because the web service that hosts has an option for it.
Yeah.
And then I was reading some stuff and they're like, oh, one of the articles I read was like, oh, definitely publish to YouTube. The people listen to it, even though it's got a static image. I'm like, get out of here. So I ticked the box to publish to YouTube, and sure enough, we get a surprising number of views on YouTube. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, because a lot of people subscribe to YouTube. They pay a subscription, so they're like, oh, that's just their preferred player for all things, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah, that's cool. So yeah, we've been doing that since I think we started 21. I can't remember. And Neil had been hounding me to do it for a while. And I had said no. I was like, oh, dude, I'm a firstborn. I'm already half a narcissist. I don't need to be hearing myself talk. But he kept pushing me. And so I also kind of got banned, like shadow banned on Instagram in 2020.
Oh.
And, I went from like 50 followers a week to 0.
Yeah.
And then I got kicked off of PayPal. So I was like, I do need another way to reach people. So I was like, yeah, we'll do the podcast thing.
Yeah.
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 So you guys not allowed to sell dangerous weapons on PayPal, just so you guys know.
Right. Yeah, that's a no-go.
Maybe you should have stayed with the slip joint name.
Instead of podcast. I do regret ever using the word knife or knives in my like name or website or email or any of that stuff. Yeah. I should have called it like a dozen roses or something.
I actually changed my business company name.
Oh, really?
I was Crying Knives forever. Now I'm actually Orchard City Manufacturing DBA Crying Knives.
Oh, so you've thought about this a lot more than I have. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well,
that's smart.
I couldn't get a credit card reader, nothing. So now I'm just a simple machine shop.
There you go.
I love that. I mean, I've met guys that do 100% of their business on PayPal. I've had 0 problems. But I don't know what my deal is, but I'm in a database of some sort.
Yeah. So you guys must have started not long after Neil was on with us.
Yeah, that probably cemented it for him. He's probably like, oh, it's not hard to talk.
Right.
These dummies can do it.
And Neil's like old school. He doesn't like, he doesn't, he's retired and he doesn't want to like deal with computers and all that stuff. So
yeah.
It's like it's entertaining for sure.
Neil's the talent, Mike. That's how they do it in Hollywood.
He's the talent.
The talent shows up, they do their bit, they leave.
I tell you what, he's got his own rider too. He's got this, and he needs that, and he needs snacks.
Yeah.
No, it's super fun. We really enjoy it.
I need snacks.
And like anything regularly scheduled, it can be a grind. So we would take a break here and there, especially during the summer.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure it's the same for you guys, but listening goes down. The listeners don't listen as much in the summertime.
Right.
So
yeah, we usually take a little bit of a break around the holidays. Sometimes we take a break in the summer just because, like you said, everybody's got lots going on. And with 4 of us plus a guest, it gets dicey trying to schedule things.
Yeah.
The other thing we really wanted to talk about, Mike, before we wrap up is this is the second year that you're going to do a show, but I think it seems really different than what people think of when they think about it's more than a knife show. Why don't you explain what it's called, how they can learn about it, and what it is exactly?
Yeah. So I forgot to mention the doggone thing. So part of the whole like podcast getting banned on Instagram before everybody else, I guess I was a trendsetter and getting kicked off of PayPal. I was like, I was a little bit worried because I quit a good paying job and, went all in on this knife making thing.
Yeah.
So one of the things I've gone to Blade Show Atlanta for so many years. And I used to host a dinner every Friday night down there. And collectors, I'd take collectors out and, get them a good meal and have a good time.
Yeah.
But, and so many people would show up and they'd be enthusiastic about it. But I get a restaurant and a room but it gets crazy in there and you can't really, everybody's there to talk with you and get to know you, but you can only really talk to the people next to you. So I had started thinking about doing my own knife show in 2021 and just got busy and couldn't make it happen. The things fell through the next year and then I moved. And so last year was the first year that I had my own knife show. And my idea was to bring makers and collectors together and have some fun. And I'll really allow makers and collectors to get to know each other. And not behind a table that costs nearing $1,000, by the way. Ridiculous.
Right.
Sorry. I'll stay off my soapbox, but that's ridiculous, Blade Show. So the idea is to just a tiny bit of knife show and a lot of fun. So it's called the Grand Knife Adventure. Most people know it as GKA. And you can find it on my website, moranknives.com. We're still offering tickets. It's November 7th and 8th this year in the desert in New River, Arizona, which offers world-class off-roading. People come from all over the world to wheel out here. And it's a 2-day event. So we have like a knife show the first day on a Friday afternoon. And we have it on a back patio overlooking the Bradshaw Mountains. And it's like you're in a Western. And the show lasts for 2 hours. We've got catered dinner on the patio and bartender and all that kind of stuff. And you can literally just walk up to the maker's table and sit down and work knives and talk with the maker. And then we all hang out till whenever. And then the next day we off-road. So we do side-by-sides and we go out as a group and then things get a little wild and crazy. And last year we went out and shot autos after that. We stopped at my local taco place and get proper tacos. And then we went out and shot autos. This year, I don't know if we're going to do that because it just made for too long of a day, but that's super fun. For guys that have never shot machine guns. And then, I have a saloon that's near my house. So we go down there and, watch bull riding. It's a big party scene. So
fun.
And close it out. So, and there's some back patio sessions at my house too, So that's
really
kind
cool.
of the deal. Yeah. We've got 12 makers coming this year.
Nice.
You guys, in your recent Blade Show wrap up, you mentioned quite a few of them.
Yeah. I was going to say.
So I won't go through all the list because I don't want to miss anybody, but like, I'll just mention a few guys like Evan Nicolaitis, Daniel Cohen, Grayson Jennings, David Cramp, Tom Ploppert, some really great makers. They're mostly makers of pocket knives, slip joints.
Yeah.
So mostly we have a couple guys that make folders as well. Ridian Gattrill's coming from Canada. And I apologize if I don't name them all. So
right.
They're all great.
No
all
pressure.
great makers. But I was trying to think of the names that you guys had mentioned
That sounds
on
awesome.
your previous episode.
It's a cool thing. We've talked a bunch of times about this migration toward micro shows, or I don't know, we've called them a couple different things, right? Like private show sort of stuff. And maybe private show is even the wrong word for this, right? Because folks can go on the website and book a ticket and come on out. But
that's right.
But the micro show thing, it's a very different feel and vibe. And like what you're doing is sort of the next level of that, right? Where, okay, there's a show in the evening. It's a little bit like Technical Invitational or AKI or something, it sounds like, right? Where it's food and some drinks and looking at knives and then, and have a nice time. And then it's done instead of, a whole weekend straight of sitting at tables in a convention center. And then you're hooking adventure into it. And that's really, really a cool idea. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah. You bond over the adventure. Things get a little crazy out in the desert. You're wheeling in difficult terrain, maybe you get a little sideways, you get some flat tires and shoot, I tried to do a hill climb in 2-wheel drive last year and came almost off the hill. You know, I had a bunch of guys had to come hop on the fender to keep me on the earth. So, you know, things get sideways and you bond through the adventure, and you go out and shoot some guns and have a good time, and
hang out at the hospital. It's good.
Right.
Yeah, there's a hospital within driving distance here.
Yeah.
And,
what's the big deal? They got a helicopter.
that's right. So I think that that's what a lot of collectors are missing out of events like Blade Show, which is a fantastic show. I mean, it's all the things under one roof.
Yep.
But for those guys looking to get to know makers and have a good time, get to know other collectors and enthusiasts, it's great. So we had like Ben Belkin lives nearby of Jack Wolf Knives. He came out and supported. You know, just it's a great
Really
time.
good
We had
dude.
good
Guy.
Yeah, good
Great
guy.
names.
We had Austin Jackson, who runs traditionalpocketknives.com.
That's cool.
So he came out, you know, just we had a great time, and we had a lot of great collectors come from all over. And I was surprised how many people came, you know, flew out here. So Arizona is kind of in the middle of nowhere when you really think about it. You know, Blade Show Atlanta is within striking distance of a car for millions of people, but Phoenix not so much. So
Yeah.
it's its own little thing out here, and we're looking to grow. We don't, you know, I do have tickets capped, so like we are limiting how many people
Right.
can come, because then it defeats the purpose of what we're trying to do.
Exactly. Yeah. It's the catch-22 of trying to do something small, intimate
Yeah.
show thing. Or
Yeah, it's not a money, like I'm losing a lot of money doing this, so it's
Yeah.
not a money making endeavor. So
Right. All right. So like you said, moranknives.com, that's your website. So folks can go and see your work there. There's a link to the podcast there. There's a link to the Grand Knife Adventure. So this is the second time? Is that?
second time.
Nice.
Yeah. And then we're going to start moving it around the country.
Oh, that's cool.
So looking at a site in Florida and a site in California for next year. So I haven't decided yet, but
Yeah.
yeah, the idea is to move it around.
Very cool.
I think we talked a little bit about it earlier, and we're about out of time, I think, but Mike's also got a link on moranknives.com. There's a section on knife history, and this is something we've talked about on this show years ago now when we talked about Mike's work. The fact that you were trying to pull together or assemble collections of information about history, and it seems like largely Sheffield. Is that fair? Or, and I know there's more to it than that, but
Yeah, I mean, my love is Sheffield. Most of our pocket knife companies in America came from Sheffield.
Yeah.
Most of them were Chartists that were fleeting in the 1840s because they wanted certain things like a constitution and certain rights, like voting rights. But so kind of near and dear to my heart. But mostly Sheffield centered. And I need to update it. I need to add some things like, you know, my big book right now that I'm super into is Blades and Barrels. I don't know. Have you guys ever talked about that one? H. Gordon Frost?
Maybe 40, 50 times.
the red book. Yeah.
Yeah, the red one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got a signed copy.
Nice.
Yeah. You know, the unfortunate ending to that guy, but I'm really into that one right now. So
It's fantastic. It's fantastic.
yeah, I like the Unwin and Rogers knife pistols. So
I think my copy is signed, but it's signed by like, this book belongs to Fred Phillips or something.
the library,
Yeah,
at
right.
Dallas, Texas.
Yeah, I managed to find a really decent copy, but yeah, unfortunately, I don't think it's signed. I would have to go look.
Yeah. Every once in a while you can find it. Yeah. That's one, like that book. And then Sheffield Exhibition Knives
Yeah.
is another book. And my friend actually put that together, Bill Clausen
Okay.
out of Oregon. And Bill's Northwest Knives on the internet. So he's got like a mailing list. And that's a fantastic book. Those are two books. Those are must-have books. Blades and Barrels is kind of expensive.
Yes.
Sheffield Exhibition Knives you can get at knifemagazine.com or probably Amazon, I'm guessing. But Blades and Barrels are one of those you just got to put on a watch list and keep an eye. Every once in a while, you can pick one up for under $100, but
Yeah.
they can be pricey.
You got to prowl the used bookseller places.
But yeah, I've got some basic resources out there for people to get started. I had been writing articles, and then Neil was writing articles as well, and I've not put those back up. I redid my website after I moved and didn't put those up. So we have a lot of articles that are out there as well. And Neil's a prolific writer. He's been writing for Knife World and Knife Magazine for a long time.
Yeah.
So, super fun. There you
Yeah.
go. Knife history. I'm a nerd.
Well, we're nerds about it too, and I know our listeners are. So if you aren't familiar with this already, if Mike finds the time to get those other articles back up again, there's a ton of cool resources there, and it's a really nice assembly of information, book recommendations, you name it. So really, really cool. So definitely go to moranknives.com and check that stuff out. All right.
There you go. Buy a knife from me too, guys.
Oh yeah, that too.
Yeah. I got it. My kids, they want to be fed every once in a while.
Right.
Or you can also find a nice knife from Tom and Sean
Well, I don't know.
and Birch, wherever he is.
They use screws and stuff. Gross.
Oh boy.
Gross.
When I was at Sean's shop, he was actually drilling when I walked in, and I had never seen a drill bit that small in my life. Now, like I knew they existed, like for like watchmakers. I don't even remember what he was drilling, but I was like, wow, that's nuts. You're
D10.
you are an insane man. Insane.
Insane spelled STUPID.
That kind of goes without saying for a few of the guys on this show. The insane thing. Mike, thanks for taking the time to chat to us, man. Chat with us. We really appreciate it.
Oh yeah, it was fun. Super
Very
fun.
cool.
Big fan of you guys' podcast.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, again, thanks to all of our supporters and sponsors, folks on Patreon, the folks from Paladin 33, Giant Mouse Knives, Arizona Custom Knives. You guys are all awesome. We appreciate you. Go check their stuff out. And yeah, Mike, it's been a long time coming to have you on. We talked about your stuff a long, long time ago. So super clean work. That was definitely what got our attention, and just getting better, it seems like. So that's great.
I keep trying.
Keep kicking ass, man.
Yeah. Keep that shit up.
Well, you guys are big inspirations for sure. So appreciate it.
All right. That's it for this one. Thanks everybody for listening. We'll talk to you next time.
Take care, folks.
Cue the music.
To learn more about our makers, you can find Tom Crine in his Facebook group Crine Knives or on Instagram @Crine Knives. For Michael Birch, check birchtreeblades.com, Facebook group Birch Tree Blade Works, or Michael's Instagram @BirchtreeBlades. For my own projects, I'm on the web at raygundivision.com or check my personal Instagram @msteiner. For those interested in photos, references from the show, or discussion about the show itself, you can always find us on the web at markofthemaker.com, in a Facebook group called Mark of the Maker, or on our Instagram @markofthemaker. Last but not least, credit for the ultra cool and haunting background music we use for the show. This is a piece called Noir Guitar by Stevie's Amp Shack, found at the Free Music Archive and licensed under Creative Commons CC BY 4.0. And as always, thanks for listening.